President Trump again shocked the world today by living up to yet another one of his campaign promises, pulling out of the Iranian agreement. Hey everybody, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. The story from Fox News, and you probably already know this unless you've been living under a rock. The headline, Trump vows to withdraw from the Iranian nuclear agreement, calls the pact quote, defective at its core. President Trump Tuesday announced plans to leave the Iranian nuclear deal, declaring that the pact had failed to halt the country's nuclear ambitions in perhaps the biggest foreign policy decision of his administration. Speaking at the White House, Trump said, quote, I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iranian nuclear deal. Trump for months had left open whether or not he was going to decide to do this. He finally made the decision on Tuesday afternoon. Trump scorched the deal, according to Fox News, in his Tuesday remarks, saying that it only put weak limits on the regime's nuclear activity and would still allow Iran to pursue a nuclear weapon once key parts of the agreement lapse in about 2025. Quote, this was a horrible one-sided deal that never should have been made. The Iran deal is defective at its core. The Treasury Department said that a restoration of some sanctions will go into effect after a 90-day countdown, the rest kicking in after a 180-day wind-down period. Once sanctions are reimposed, the U.S. effectively will be out of the deal. Trump said at the heart of the Iranian deal was a giant fiction that a murderous regime desired only a peaceful nuclear energy program. Today, we have definitive proof that the Iranian promise was a lie. Trump going back, of course, to the evidence that the Israelis put out last week that Iran is still developing nuclear technology in order to make a nuclear bomb. This comment from Ben Sass, and I thought that it did very well. It kind of putting everything, nice and tidy here. U.S. Senator Ben Sass issued this statement. The Iran deal has always been terrible. Today is a reminder that if you live by the presidency, you die by the presidency. And we ought to be clear about this. Donald Trump isn't ripping up a treaty. He's walking away from Barack Obama's personal pledge. 2.5 years ago, President Obama made a bad deal with Iran without any support from Congress. And today, President Trump is pulling out of Obama's personal commitment. And he doesn't need Congress's support to do so. American foreign policy makes lasting progress when it's led by the president, approved by Congress, and presented honestly to the American people. That from Ben Sass. And I agree with Ben Sass. It's a lot like DACA and immigration policy. It needs to go through Congress. If you're going to have a deal that is signed off on foreign policy and a deal that commits the U.S. to something, it should be addressed by members of Congress. The president can spearhead this all he wants, but any deal with Iran should have been okayed by Congress, and it should have been fully thrown out for the American people to know exactly what was going on. I don't blame President Trump for doing this. There are a lot of people who are predicting doom and gloom today, but they predicted doom and gloom when the president pulled out the Paris Climate Accord. They predicted doom and gloom when President Trump started tweeting about North Korea. When President Trump was sworn into office, we were hit with predictions of doom and gloom. The president made it real clear to Iran, look what I'm doing with North Korea. If you're willing to make a deal and come to the table and offer a fair agreement, it's something that is good for the United States and good for Iran and something that we can double check. I'm willing to make a deal. I'm willing to come to the table just like I am with North Korea. It was a smart move by President Trump. There's all these doom and gloom predictions. I just don't see them happening. A lot of foreign policy experts have chimed in and said that this is not a bad thing by the president, and I would agree with them. This is a partisan issue at this point, and it really remains to be seen what lasting impact, if any, this will have. I don't trust that the Iranians would have given up nuclear weapons, just like I didn't trust that the North Koreans would have given up nuclear weapons, and I still don't believe that they will give up nuclear weapons unless there is a really good deal in place. That remains to be seen. What are your thoughts on the Iranian deal? Did President Trump do the right thing or the wrong thing? Let us know in the comments section below. Have a great day and tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.